everyone, welcome to the fourth video, which is all focused on filming. So I'm guessing you've got your shot lists and your storyboards all done and you're ready to actually take it into filming, which is exciting. Right, so I've got some tips before you go and do that. So let's just get into it. Firstly, location. Location. So remember to think about your location and the weather, which I'm guessing you would have done if you've done your shot list and your storyboard. You would have planned for what you want it to look like, in what type of weather, and you would have scheduled when to go out and shoot that shot. But do check the weather consistently because it does change, and maybe you can change around your schedule to shoot something else if the weather doesn't suit the look that you want. But also what you have to bear in mind is the location that you use. If it's outside in an open space and there's people in the background and you can clearly see them, you do have to go and ask them whether it's okay that they can be in the background. If it's not, then just try and find a different location that you can't see people. But you do have to disclose that because if this film goes onto YouTube or wherever it goes, you don't want to get in trouble later on. So cover your backs now. Also, remember to protect your equipment. If you're shooting in the weather like rain, then do make sure you have something that can protect your camera or your phone or your mic, whatever you're using, to make sure that it stays intact. Lighting. Lighting is super important. If you're shooting and the lighting is bad, no one wants to watch it. You just think about it, if you watch something and the lighting is dark, dull, you can't really see facial expressions, you can't really make out what objects are, you're not really going to be into it. So be sure to make sure your lighting, whatever you're shooting, is well lit. So if you're shooting outside, you have the advantage of the sun and daylight, so be sure to use that to your advantage. So go out as early as possible to start shooting if you're shooting outside. If you are, make sure that your back is towards the sun, so you actually use that as your lighting. If you do it the other way, if you're focused, if you're shooting against the sun, so towards the sun in fact, then it will become very dark because the light will be overflowing into the camera, so you don't want that. Always have the sun behind you and shoot with the sun behind you. If you're shooting indoors, then you can also use the lights that you have, and one thing that is always a great accessory, reflectors. And these are around different sizes, and what you tend to do is you move them with the light that you have. So whatever source of light you have, whether it's daylight again or it's a lighting box, you can use that to reflect the light onto whatever you want to then showcase. So whether it's a person or an object, you can use that reflector. Use what you have. So if you have a lamp, if you have a flashlight on your phone, you can use that as your advantage as well. Sound. So sound is important, and I said this in the last video, but I wanted to mention it again because now you are actually going to film and you might be capturing dialogue, and if so, one thing that I would recommend is an external mic. And this can be, depending on what you use, whether it's a camera, you can get an external mic that attaches to the camera and that just captures the sound very clearly. You can also get external mics for your phones. Again, they're not too expensive. You can find them on Amazon and you can attach it just like a headphone. You attach it to there and it just enhances the dialogue. So those things are great especially if you're using them outside. So if you're shooting outside, I highly recommend having an external mic. If you're not, you can use what you have, so your cameras, your phones, whatever. It has great mics anyway, great built-in mics, so you can use those as well. But if you are shooting outside and you don't have external mics, then just be sure to be in a space where there's not a lot of background noise. Try and shoot when there's not a lot of wind, which I know could be difficult, but like I said before, there's so many websites that have loads of sound effects and dialogue even that you can use as well. So do check them out, or you can do, like I said before, you can create your own sound effects, you know, away from when you're shooting, so separately, and then just add it in afterwards. So do make sure you think about that, and you think about the surroundings when you are filming. Framing. So framing is all about making sure that your shot looks good. So remember, we spoke about this in episode 2, where we spoke about shots, sizes and angles, so refer back to that, do your little search, but also I'm sure you have your storyboards where you have exactly what you want to be shot and how you want it to look like and what kind of frame you want. So make sure you carry that storyboard with you when you are shooting, so you can make sure you can look at that and make sure you emulate that when you film. But also don't be afraid to add a little more. So if you have a shot where you're shooting someone, a character, and you have a mid shot, so you just, mid shot just here, don't be afraid to do that 3 times. So you do it front on, but also from the side and the other side. So when you take it into edit, you actually have 3 different shots to play with, which is super important. So when you are shooting, remember to think about what you want to take into the edit, and making sure that you have a selection of different looks, which is important because it makes it look, just makes it look better. It really does. Make sure to take your time when you're shooting. Don't rush through things. If you need to reshoot, do reshoot. If you need to take a little bit longer to set up the shot, then do so. Don't rush through, because if you do rush through, you may find that you don't like what you've done, because you have not given it the time to shoot it properly, or to set it up, in fact, properly. So do take your time, to make sure you perfect what you want it to look like. Do a test shot. Watch it back to make sure that you're happy with it before you actually go into shooting for real. But also, if you have the ability to have if you have a tripod, then use that. I definitely recommend using that, especially if you have shots where they're a bit more still. Making a film is a lot of planning, and really it's luck. So you can plan so much, but also you have to make sure that everything that you have in the process, so everything that is running, whether that's your actors, whether that's the person in charge of camera, whether that's the person in charge of sound, the person that's making sure the location and the background are okay, the weather, everything that is also part of the film process, is all about luck. So it's just hopefully making sure that you've planned all of it, and then you've gone out and you just shoot, and you hope that everything that is in the process, everything that is moving whilst you're moving, is doing it exactly how you want it. And don't be alarmed if you have to retake it again. It's fine, just retake, and just know that you're retaking because you know you can do better and you can capture better. So that is a good thing. Yeah, so have fun when you're doing it, and don't put too much pressure, and just enjoy it. And I can't wait for all of the films to be done, and then we can actually go and take it, all the filming, sorry, to be done, and then we can take it into the edit. So good luck with filming, and I'll see you for the next video where we talk about editing. Bye for now.